Today on Business Insight, we'll take a look at the impact of e-commerce in Nigeria as the federal government officially recognizes the sector as a contributor to the nation's economy. Hello, it's good to have you join us on the show today. I am Vivian Oguche. Well, let's get the ball rolling with the day's top stories. Alfreda Ambi Bassi is standing by.
Thank you, Vivian. Hello and welcome. Here is a quick rundown of our top stories this morning. Nigeria secures second position for the highest hotel investment in Africa. Saudi Arabia, the world's top oil exporter, is considering raising the price for its light crude to Asia. Also, the Nigerian government has commenced subscriptions for 10-year Ijara Souq bond worth 150 billion naira. Details after the short break. Stay with us. Welcome back. Nigeria has secured second position for the highest hotel investments in Africa with 6,772 rooms in 42 hotels. However, Egypt leads the ranking with 25,000 rooms in 103 hotels, surpassing Nigeria by a considerable margin. Egypt's dominance in hotel development in Africa is evident, accounting for 30% of the total pipeline. Other countries in the top 5 hotel investments include Morocco, Ethiopia, and Kenya. Egypt and Nigeria have been active in signing hotel development deals, maintaining their positions as top contenders at the African hospitality industry. Moving on, the federal government, through the Debt Management Office, DMO, has initiated a 10-year Ijara Souq bond subscription worth 150 billion naira. This Souq offers a 15.75% annual interest rate and matures in October 2033 with semi-annual interest payments. The subscription period spans from the 3rd to 11th of October with the settlement dates for October 13th. The Souq is issued under the Local Loans Act and facilitated by the FGN Road Souq Company on behalf of the federal government of Nigeria. Units are priced at 1,000 naira each with a minimum subscription of 10,000 naira and multiples of 1,000 naira. Funds raised will be exclusively allocated to road construction projects in Nigeria's 6 zones. And in a new development, the world's top oil exporter, Saudi Arabia, is considering raising the price for its flagship Arab light crude to Asia for the 5th consecutive month in November. This move is driven by its voluntary output cuts and strong oil demand in the region. Saudi Aramco may increase the official selling price by around 45 cents per barrel, the highest this year. Middle Eastern crude prices surged in September due to Saudi Arabia's 1 million barrels per day supply cut extension until the end of 2023 and Russia's 300,000 barrel per day reduction extension. The official selling prices set by Saudi Aramco have a significant impact on the prices of Iranian, Kuwaiti, and Iraqi crude oil, affecting approximately 9 million barrels per day of oil shipments to Asia. Stock, commodities, and currency market trends comes up after this break. Welcome back. At the close of the day's trading session on the Nigerian Stock Exchange, NGX, a total of 364,321,814 shares were traded in 7,537 deals. Compared with the previous NGX trading day, the day's data shows a 24% improvement in the trading volume. There was a 15% decline in turnover, but a 19% improvement in the number of deals. Now, the current market capitalization of the Nigerian Stock Exchange stands at 36,500 billion naira. In total, 116 equities listed on the NGX participated in trading. Among them, 24 stocks gained in value, while 27 stocks experienced losses. Boa Cement led the gainers with a 9.94% share price appreciation, closing at 94 naira per share. Better Glass Company followed closely alongside FTN Cocoa Processors and Owando. On the losing side, Linkage Assurance experienced a decline, with its share price depreciating by 10%, closing at 72 kobo per share. This was followed by Computer Warehouse Group, Red Star Express, and Tantalizers. Consolidated Hallmark Insurance recorded the highest trading volume with 71.5 million shares exchanged, followed by Fidelity Bank, Owando, and Guarantee Trust Holding. At the close of the first trading day of the week on the Johannesburg Stock Exchange, a total of 227,721,169 shares were traded in 296,845 deals. This trading activity corresponds to a market value of 15,859,749,335 rand and 51 cents. The current market capitalization of the Johannesburg Stock Exchange stands at 17,300 billion rand. In total, 316 equities listed on the JSE participated in trading. Among them were 95 gainers and 192 losers. Labat Africa led the gainers with a 12.5% share price appreciation, closing at 9% per share. It was followed by Chopis Enterprises, Copa 360, and Sebata Holdings. And on the losing side, Rand Gold and Exploration Co. experienced a decline, with its share price depreciated by 16.67%, closing at 60 cents per share. This was followed by Quantum Foods Holdings, REC and Caliber, alongside Pick and Pay Stores. Steinhoff International Holdings recorded the highest trading volume with 20.5 million shares exchanged. It was followed by Growth Point Properties, Old Mutual, and Redefined Properties. And moving on, wheat is currently trading at 568.75 US cents per unit. Gold is valued at 1,823.65 US dollars per ounce. Silver is priced at 21.18 US dollars per ounce. Copper is trading at 3.62 US dollars per pound, and Brent crude oil's latest trading value is not provided at the moment. In the parallel market, the US dollar is being bought at 995 naira and sold for 1,005 naira. The British pound exchanges between 1,260 naira to 1,270 naira. The euro is being purchased at 1,045 naira and sold for 1,055 naira. Those are the day's top stories. I am Alfreda Ambe Bassi. Join Vivian Oguche for the next phase of Business Insight.
How do I... Welcome back. So we'll be taking a look at the impact of e-commerce on businesses in Nigeria, agriculture and all of that. Online shopping has disrupted a traditional business in Nigeria. So for an in-depth insight into this, I've got with me Sam Orovoje. He is a public affairs analyst and he joins us on the show. Thank you so much for being a part of the show this morning.
Thank you for having me, Vivian.
Thank you so much. I also have Temitope Otedola, who joins us virtually later on. He is the MD CEO, TTS Integrated Farms, Nigeria Limited, and President Youth Employment in Agriculture Scheme. He's going to be speaking to the impact of e-commerce in agriculture or to agriculture in Nigeria. We also have Juliet Undianeku. She has many years in the industry, the e-commerce industry, and she currently runs Elrad Hairs. It is an online hair business that provides women with quality human hair wigs. Juliet joins us later on the show. So Sam, e-commerce has disrupted the way things are done traditionally in Nigeria and the world over when it comes to buying and selling. Now, this has been boosted in no small measure by increased mobile penetration. Now, these days, people do no longer use, most of the time, you don't depend on your laptop for buying and selling online. You can also use your mobile phone. So let's talk about it, though, the impact of e-commerce on businesses in Nigeria.
There's been a tremendous impact in terms of business practice. Simply put, business are done electronically. So that enhances the efficiency of businesses in terms of delivery, in terms of customer service. So electronics tangentially has been a major driver of businesses across the world. And it has impacted positively in the way businesses and commerce are run across the world. So I think it has come to stay, and there are new innovation in that sector with the advent of machine tools and artificial intelligence. More e-commerce regime will be sustained over a period of time.
Fantastic. I've got players in the industry who are going to join us soon to tell us about the nitty-gritty of what we are talking about. In the meantime, though, let's go into talk about jobs that e-commerce has created in Nigeria. The federal government this year acknowledged officially that e-commerce has become one of the major contributors to the nation's economy. Do you agree? Or
yes.
Are you impressed?
Yes, absolutely. And that's the way forward. And I think in other jurisdiction, there's more emphasis on e-transactions. So people are even talking about e-governance as a way of improving on service delivery. Therefore, that has created even a new ecosystem in terms of employment generation for citizens.
Fantastic. Let's also talk about affordability. You know, considering that when you order for goods, they are delivered at your doorstep. You don't have to travel from one place to the other for your goods to, you know, come to you. I don't know. Have you had an experience personally with buying and selling online?
In terms of selling online, not really so, but in terms of buying online, yes.
You enjoy, you know, the comfort of your goods being delivered?
In terms of the speed, the interface, you don't really do much of human interface. Then your goods are delivered to you at your doorstep. I think that's very innovative, very creative, and I think is a business that must sustain over a period of time so that people can get service delivery without necessarily having a human interface. But on the other hand, sometimes you have issues of logistic and supply chain issues. Maybe as we progress the conversation, then we'll be able to speak to those aspects.
It's interesting you mentioned it because I was going to bring it up. There are challenges. Sometimes you order for something, you order for A and you get B. And sometimes you're not able to get what you originally ordered for. You know, those are some of the things that.
No, I think those are essentially service failure in terms of how the products are delivered to the clients. I think that has to do with the back-end efficiency in terms of matching the products to those who are as requested for those services.
Fantastic. Okay, let me talk to our guests who are joining us virtually. All right, I understand Juliet is standing by. Topek joins us. Temi Topek joins us later on. Juliet, thank you so much for being a part of the show today. So you've been a player in this industry for very long. Walk us through your experience as someone who has benefited from e-commerce. Juliet, could you unmute yourself so that we can hear you clearly? Unmute your gadget, whatever it is you're using, so we can hear you clearly.
Okay, sorry. Good morning, everyone. I'm actually sorry about that. So let me just go straight into this. As someone who has played in different industries, so to speak, within the e-commerce space, I've had a lot of experiences with that, both buying and selling. Selling mostly, actually. So it depends. Now, if you want to talk about playing big in the e-commerce space as a seller or as a marketplace, that's a totally different discussion. If you want to talk about small businesses that leverage e-commerce, basically, that all of their businesses on e-commerce, that's a totally different discussion too. So let me start from selling on big platforms like Jumia, right? So it's a very good. I feel like it's a very good thing. Like if you want to sell on Jumia, for example,
Julia,
especially
can I come in here? Could you just avoid calling names of brands? Yeah.
Okay. Sorry about that. So if you want to sell on marketplaces, right? Yeah, they have different, what do you call it now? They have different requirements and things you have to meet. And one of the challenges across the board when it comes to Nigeria is logistics. So for the big brands, one of their issues is usually supplying a mistake. Like what I mean is you might order for a 32-inch TV that is supposed to be Android, and you get maybe like what is it called? Like an analog TV, so to speak. In that kind of situation, it's not as if the product is not in their warehouse or stuff. It could just be a mix-up. While the staff that are in charge of moving these products to their logistics partners, when there's a mistake there, right? Then another challenge when it comes to small business owners is if a small business owners is leveraging social media to sell their product, one of the challenge again they can have, or one of the problems, or one of the issues they would have would also be logistics, right? You could do everything good from your own end, but your logistics partners can mess the entire process up. So logistics is actually a very big issue when it comes to e-commerce in Nigeria. Yeah, so as someone who currently runs Erad Hairs, when I started the business, one of the issues I had was with logistics still. So we give products to these logistics companies, and sometimes they start getting to the client's doorstep like 10 p.m. I mean, that's absolutely ridiculous. I've had that experience like twice, and it wasn't funny. You know, when you've tied your knot at your own end, you've done everything you're supposed to do, but still these people just try to mess you up. One of the things we tried to do was to get very reliable logistics partners, and this has made our work seamless. Now, apart from this, again, another issue that people can encounter is when the vendor you're buying from, especially small business owners still, is when the vendor you're buying from is not a trustworthy person. So for instance, you ordered like 100% human hair wig, and it gets to you, you're not even getting a blend wig, you're getting a sponge. Sorry, a synthetic wig, so to speak. So the problems with logistics, the problems with e-commerce when it comes, the problems with e-commerce, I feel like this is worldwide, it's not just Nigeria, is you need to be sure of whom you're ordering your product from, right? You need to be sure of what you're selling. That's another thing. As a seller, you need to be sure that, okay, if a customer buys something from you, they are getting exactly what they ordered. Because once trust is broken in an e-commerce business, trust me, those buyers will never come back. They will never, ever, ever come back.
All right, so
yes.
In a little while, I'll come back to you to talk to us about the advantages, right? You've talked about the challenges, you faced in that space. So when we come back to you, you tell us some of the gains, as regards doing business in Nigeria with the help of electronic means. Let me come to Sam here. Despite the expansion of the growth, there's been concerns of a lack of regulation in that sector. But before that, though, according to Statista, revenue in the e-commerce market is projected to reach $46.7 million in 2023, while user penetration is expected to be above 45%. That is massive. But like I said earlier on, a lack of robust regulation and a regulatory framework has raised concerns as regards consumer protection, like what Juliet just mentioned earlier on. What's your take?
I think in Nigeria in particular, I think it's an evolving industry. Therefore, the regulations to sustain that business, the industry that is responsible in terms of protecting consumer must scale up their processes in terms of how they are able to use sanction to put people to do what they are supposed to do. On the other side, the issues with supply chain must be looked into, because there are a lot of gaps that exist between the supply chain, the service provider, and the final consumer. So you need to strengthen the framework that protect the entire value chain up to the consumer. I think these are key conversation